When parents separate, it's normally the case that children have two homes, and this can be a struggle for both the children and the parents. So, what are the traps that we tend to fall into during this transition? I'm going to talk to Christina McGhee, parenting and divorce expert, and also author of the book Parenting Apart: How Separated and Divorced Parents Can Raise Happy and Secure Kids, to find out. So, hi, Christina, thanks so much for joining us again today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Well, today we thought we'd talk about the issue of homes. And of course, when we separate the families, the children then have two homes. And are we doing things properly? It is a big issue having two different homes for the children. Can you give us any advice on what we should be doing better?
Sure, absolutely. I think when you talk about two homes, one of the biggest issues that I see parents struggling with is this idea of having one home that's the real home, and then the other home is a place that children visit. It's not the real home. This is where you really belong. And that creates kind of an interesting dynamic for kids that can can have a really big impact on them. After the marriage ends, the family needs to continue, and it's really important for kids to feel like they still share life with mom and dad and that they have two homes. So I encourage parents to change the way they talk
Okay.
about each place. Instead, of saying you're going for a visit with dad, I would say you're spending time with dad, or you're home with dad, you're home with mom, and talk about time with the parent instead of making it a visit.
Okay. So, one of the other issues that crops up, I hear a lot from single mums is clearly the different rules in the different houses. So, and that can often, stir emotions. How do we best put a lid on that and keep things calm and stop it from affecting our lives and our children's?
Well, it's interesting that you bring that up about the rules being different, because that is a huge issue. And that ties into this idea of dad's home being a place that you visit.
Yes.
Because when you think about it, when you have guests, when you have someone visit, what do?
Well, they have a separate room, and you sort of give them a bit more space. They're not as integrated in your family life as they would be if it was a member of the family.
Sure, and you also usually entertain guests, don't
Sure,
you?
of
You want
course.
to have a good time, you want them to
Yeah,
have fun. And
that's
so
true.
when we set up this idea of dad's place as a place we visit,
Oh, of
why would we
course.
have rules? Why
Okay,
would
of
we
course.
focus on having a good time? And you set up this dynamic where you have one parent that is the rule maker and the
Hmm.
heavy, and the other parent is the good time parent where you go have fun and there are no rules.
Hmm.
And so it makes it a steeper hill to climb for single moms,
Sure.
because kids come back from having a great time and they don't want to go to bed. They don't want to have to do
No.
homework. And you be the heavy.
I
So
know.
this is another reason why, two homes,
Hmm.
and really being supportive of
Sure.
having a home with dad is important. And
Okay.
I also encourage, single dads, act like a family when you have your kids with you.
Yeah.
Uh, do chores together, do homework together,
Hmm.
have them participate in cooking meals. Don't stop being a family, and try to, not that you can't have fun together,
No, no,
but
no.
there needs to be kind of I don't know, a normal rhythm to life.
Yeah, that,
And
that makes perfect sense. Yeah, it really does. Because I think you're right. It's so easy to say you're having a visit with dad, and they do have that fun time and come home, and then everything's a mess, and we have to pick up pieces. But even if we have that intention, if our ex partners don't comply with that, and they do sort of give them a lot of entertainment and fill them up with sugar and put them to bed at midnight, how can we deal with that? We don't want to get cross with our ex-partner, because that's going to create problems as well. So what's the best strategy to handle all of that?
well, I think you can't change the choices that your ex makes, but I think
No.
one of the key ingredients is allowing different to be different.
Okay.
So don't react or respond. When Hannah comes in and says, well, at Dad's house, I can eat crisp and, have a fizzy drink and stay up all night and watch, television.
Yeah.
A lot of times what happens is Mom goes off about what a horrible parent Dad is, and your bedtime is 8 o'clock and you need to put yourself in bed whether Dad lets you stay up or not, and you shouldn't eat those kinds of foods because that's not a rule in our family. And so we get really focused on trying to control what happens in the other house. Instead, it's really helpful if you focus in on your rules, being consistent, having a structure for kids, and sticking with it. So going back to the situation with Hannah, so Hannah does this, and so instead of Mom going off like a bottle rocket, Mom might say, wow, sounds like you had a great time at Dad's. Must be really fun to, have snacks and stay up and watch TV. Here in this house, your bedtime is 8 o'clock, so you need to go and get ready for bed.
Wow. I'm even scared. That's really good parenting, isn't it? But that's, it's so structured and it's so sensible. Clearly, after we've done that, we can go and stab a cushion or something, get rid of our anger. But we do have to sort of make sure we're that focused, don't we, and keep it calm. And that way the transition is a lot smoother and it helps us in the long run anyway. So we need to be very mindful of it.
Well, it can also help if you shift your own perspective. So a lot of times I ask parents, so if your kids were at Grandma's house and Grandma did all those things, how would you handle it?
Yeah, you'd be a lot more lenient, wouldn't you? You'd think, it's just Grandma. They can do that. They're allowed.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's Grandma, but in this house,
Yeah, you would. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's very logical when you spell it out like that. But I guess in the moment, you don't think as clearly. So we just need to sort of be mindful of it and think it through before these things happen in some ways, or at least if we can't react properly the first time round, learn for the second time round.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, you can always go back and redo. You're going to make mistakes. We all do as parents. And so there may be something that, catches you off guard or blindsides you, and you react. And then afterwards you may have a sense of regret of, oh gosh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't gotten angry. Kids are very understanding. They're very forgiving. And you can go back and say, when you said that, I really got angry and I wish I hadn't said those things. I apologize. And I'm going to work really hard in the future, to change how I handle those kinds of situations.
That's great. So putting one side really, and then they can understand that, we're all human anyway. And that's a good lesson too, I guess.
I think so. Yeah. I think it is. You really are. It's it's teachable moment for kids.
Definitely. Christina, if I let you go, where can people find out more about what we're talking about now and other issues to do with parenting and divorce?
Sure, you can check me out at divorceandchildren.com. I have a lot of information and resources available on that site. And for parents who are interested in coaching, they can visit parenting-apart.com.
Fantastic. I'm sure lots will be doing that. I know I will. So thanks so much for your help today, and we'll look forward to inviting you back to talk about more issues to do with parenting and divorce.
I love that. It's been a pleasure.
Super. Thanks so much, Christina.
Bye.
Bye-bye. So that was super interesting. Thank you, Christina McGhee, for sharing some strategies on how best to handle the transition between two homes. But if you've got any more questions, please do get in touch, Harry at HARRIETT at wellbeingexaminer.com, and I'll do my best to interview an expert about subjects we've just talked about or other health matters, whatever that might be, whether it's physical or emotional or to do with separation and divorce. And in the meantime, please stay happy, healthy single mums.